there are going to be changes economically, and that might affect somebody's life tomorrow. So obviously, first, it's not that one has to make a distinction between Eurozone and European Union. So we are not necessarily joining Eurozone, and like for some countries which join Eurozone, you kind of change your money, right? So like you kind of feel directly impact of joining EU tomorrow. It's a new currency, right? So that's gonna maybe come later, but right now, Croatia joining EU is gonna change how companies, some companies operate, mostly how Croatian companies operate when approaching markets outside Croatia, and also how companies from EU start operating in Croatia, because suddenly they become EU companies, because European Union as such started as a free trade union. So the fundamentals of European Union started from the need for creating a free trade zone, need for creating a free flow of both capital, trade, and human labor, right? So how this is going to affect Croatian citizens, first of all, there's going to be opportunities available to Croatian citizens, because trying to like free movement of goods and people is going to allow them now to more freely move throughout Europe, but also it's going to allow Europeans to more freely move towards Croatia, which means that like highly competitive and well-functioning companies in European Union are now going to have way less barriers to do business in Croatia, which might create a threat for Croatian businesses which are not ready. So there is going to be some changes, and people might feel them. And I think both of these issues, when you look at those, fundamentally are most likely the biggest opportunities and biggest threats of Croatia joining EU. On one side, there is an opportunity for businesses to kind of access new markets more easily than they could have done it up to now. But also there is a threat of businesses which are not as good to face a competition they were not facing up to joining EU. A very interesting impact on Croatian business of joining EU is the fact that most of the Croatian export business and most of the Croatian export markets are related to former Yugoslavia, because most of these businesses, like, you know, businesses don't necessarily not all businesses grow overnight and die overnight. Some businesses are established, some brands are established over time, and because of the joint history in ex-Yugoslavia, some of the brands and businesses from Croatia have substantial market shares in ex-Yugoslavian countries. By Croatia joining EU, suddenly they have to shift their way of doing business on their most important export markets as EU country doing a business in non-EU country, which creates a host of challenges. Many companies prepare for that, but there are a host of companies for which it's not clear how this is going to impact their bottom line. And I think they might find themselves in a vulnerable position. So this is one of the kind of like unknown perils of joining EU, and this issue is somewhat similar to the issue prior to big expansion of EU in 2004, because there was lots of economic activity between Central European countries, former communist Central European countries like Hungary, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Poland. So they had their own way of doing their own trade agreements out of EU, but then they all joined the EU at the same time. So it's somewhat different issue. Right now, really, many Croatian companies are going to find themselves on an EU side of doing business with non-EU countries, and that is going to require change.